Welcome to another episode of the Japan Reach podcast. Embark on an exciting journey through the heart of Japan, its vibrant culture, fascinating traditions, and the stories that make it truly extraordinary. Our team has traveled far and wide across Japan, immersing ourselves in its rich culture and connecting with its incredible people. Now we're bringing those unforgettable experiences straight to you. From hidden gems to captivating guest stories, each episode dives into what makes Japan unique and inspiring. In the interest of full disclosure, I want to note that Japan Reach is a Christian missions organization, and we work with churches in the Kansai region of Japan, Kobe, Kyoto, Osaka, and more. Mostly we do English language Bible studies and conversation partnerships, Western-style barbecues, basic encouragement through testimonies and speaking engagements, and anything else our Japanese partners ask us to do, as long as we have the talent to do it. So let's talk about our topic. When we think of Christianity, Japan might not be the first country that comes to mind. It is a nation known for Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines, not churches and crosses. But Christianity in Japan has a long, fascinating, and often tragic history, one filled with moments of hope, persecution, resilience, and quiet faith. Today, I want to take you through that journey. How Christianity arrived, how it clashed with culture and power, and what it looks like today. Let's start from the beginning. Christianity first came to Japan in the mid-16th century when Spanish missionary Francis Xavier, a Jesuit priest, landed in Kagoshima in southern Japan. He was one of the first people to introduce Catholicism to the Japanese, and he did it with a sense of awe and respect for the people he met. He even tried to learn the language, which was no small task. Xavier saw Japan as fertile ground for conversion. The people were educated, curious, and spiritually aware, thanks to a blend of Shinto and Buddhist traditions already deeply rooted in the culture. At first, Christianity made a lot of progress. Local daimyo, Japanese feudal lords, especially in the south, were receptive. Some converted and many allowed churches to be built. Christianity spread rapidly. Within a few decades, there were over 300,000 converts. The missionaries used a combination of charity, medical care, and education to spread the gospel, and it worked very well. But then the tone changed. By the early 1600s, the ruling Tokugawa shogunate began to see Christianity as a threat. Why? Because it wasn't just a religion. It came with foreign influence, foreign power, and a challenge to the authority of the shogun. The fear was that if too many people followed a foreign religion, loyalty to the shogun might be replaced with loyalty to the Pope, or even European colonial powers, and so began one of the darkest periods of Japanese Christian history, the persecution era. Christianity was officially banned in 1614. Missionaries were expelled. Japanese Christians were forced to renounce their faith or face torture and death. Some were crucified, others were beheaded. Entire families were put to death. It was brutal. The most famous example of resistance during this time is the Shimbara Rebellion of 1637 through 1638. Where thousands of mostly Christian peasants rose up against the local government to fight religious persecution. The rebellion was crushed, and in short order, Christianity was driven completely underground. If you have time, there is a movie called Silence, starring Andrew Garfield, Liam Neeson, and Adam Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese, that covers the persecution era. It's a hard movie to watch, but it does give you a sense of what it was like. And that's where we get the story of Kakure Korishitan, the hidden Christians. For over 200 years, these people practiced their faith in secret. They disguised their prayers in Buddhist chants, They hid crosses inside statues of the Virgin Mary that looked like Kannon, the Buddhist goddess of mercy. Baptisms were done quietly, often at night, and most incredibly, they passed down their faith orally, generation to generation, without priests, without Bibles, and without contact with the outside Christian world. That level of spiritual endurance is incredible. Jump ahead to the mid-1800s when Commodore Matthew Perry arrived in Japan with a fleet of powerful American warships. His presence and the pressure it brought helped push Japan to reopen its doors to the West after 2 centuries of isolation. Soon after, Christian missionaries returned, this time from both Catholic and Protestant traditions. The Meiji Restoration followed, bringing rapid modernization and with it a degree of religious freedom. Churches began to appear again, and Christians who had long practiced in secret were finally able to step out into the open. But the road ahead was still far from easy. Even into the 20th century, Christians in Japan remained a small minority. During World War II, Christianity was once again viewed with suspicion because of its Western roots. Churches were pressured to align with state ideology, and some pastors were arrested. After the war, though, the new constitution guaranteed religious freedom, and missionaries returned eager to rebuild the church. So where does that leave us today? Well, Christianity is still a tiny minority in Japan. Only about 1% of the population identifies as Christian. That includes both Protestants and Catholics. Churches exist, and many Japanese Christians are devout, but Christianity has never become a major religious force in Japan the way it has in some other parts of Asia, like the Philippines or South Korea. But this is important. Christianity has made an impact beyond numbers. Many Japanese universities, hospitals, and social services were founded by Christian missionaries. Christian values have influenced education, humanitarian work, and even art and literature. Weddings with Christian-style ceremonies, white dresses, vows, chapels, are incredibly popular in Japan, even among non-Christians. And while the number of Christians is small, the faith community tends to be passionate, close-knit, and active. Now let's talk briefly about beliefs, because Christianity in Japan holds to the core doctrines of Christianity everywhere. Belief in one God, in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, in his death and resurrection, and in salvation through grace and faith. Japanese Christians read the Bible, celebrate Christmas and Easter, and participate in sacraments like baptism and communion. But of course, Japanese Christianity has its own cultural flavor. Services might include Japanese language, music, or aesthetics. Some churches blend elements of Japanese tradition with Christian practice, like removing shoes before entering the sanctuary, or sitting on tatami mats. There's an effort to express faith in a way that resonates with Japanese identity without compromising one's core theological beliefs. In Japan Reach, we like to say you can be fully Japanese and fully Christian at the same time. At the same time, Christianity in Japan has to navigate a society where religion is often viewed as a private, even optional part of life. Many Japanese people participate in Shinto or Buddhist rituals without necessarily identifying deeply with the religion. It's more about culture and tradition than doctrine. So Christianity, with its emphasis on exclusive belief in one God and a personal relationship with Jesus, can sometimes feel a little out of place. But despite the odds, it endures. In a country where conformity is highly valued and where being different can be difficult, Japanese Christians are a quiet but powerful witness to conviction and perseverance. They reflect the strength of belief that has withstood centuries of pressure, violence, and isolation. That's something to be deeply respected. So, Christianity in Japan isn't just about numbers. It's a story of heart, of courage, of underground churches and whispered prayers, of missionaries who come from across the sea, and of Japanese believers who risk everything to keep the flame alive. And though it remains a minority faith, it continues to shape lives, build bridges, and offer hope in a uniquely Japanese way. I hope you enjoyed this discussion on Christianity in Japan and the end of our series on religion as a whole. Please follow us if you'd like to hear more about amazing Japan. Comment below if you'd like us to cover a particular topic. God bless and Jamata.